We'll bring the City of Helena City Commission regular meeting on December 22nd to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Assistant City Attorney Pettish.
Here.
City Manager Burton.
Here.
Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Shirtliff.
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Here.
And for the record, Mayor Collins is excused this evening.
Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, communications and proposals from commissioners. Well, I guess I'd like to start off. I believe this is Commissioner Shirtliff's last meeting with us, and I wanted to take the opportunity to thank him for serving so diligently on the commission. He stepped up after the passing of Commissioner Fever, and those were some very big shoes to fill. And I'm very grateful that you chose to do so and all of your dedication over the last few years.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I really appreciate that. Enjoyed working with you too.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner Logan.
And just echo those comments and thank Commissioner Shirtliff for his service and best of luck in the future.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. You'll be missed, Andy. It's been lovely serving with you, and I look forward to seeing you around town.
You as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Any other commission comments?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thank you very much for the opportunity to join you these last 3 years. It's been an honor. I wish everybody all the best and you all the best in the next 4 years. And I appreciate the people of Helena for the honor. It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner
I
Logan.
think is, if I am thinking correctly, is this Manager Burton's last meeting?
I believe it is.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner, yes, it is.
All right, well, I might give a somewhat of a reiteration of some things I said of you last week, but you weren't here for it. So, in the spring and summer of 1994, the Lewis and Clark County Board of County Commissioners created a new position called the Executive Assistant to the Board of County Commissioners, which we now know as the County Chief Administrative Officer. At that time, they hired a young man named Tim Burton who came to them with he came with experience in state of Montana, marketing and sales for the Dial Corporation and the M&M Mars Corporation. And I would challenge any of us to find someone who has had a more successful career in executive management and leadership. 6 years as the county's chief administrative officer, 9 years as Helena's city manager, and I got to experience all 9 of those years. The next 5 years as chief of staff for Attorney General and later Governor Bullock. The next 8 years as the executive director for the Montana League of Cities and Towns, and before returning, thankfully, to the city of Helena's city manager position for the last 3.5, 4 years of his stellar career. So, lots of thanks, lots to be proud of. I certainly appreciated my time as an employee with Manager Burton at the helm. I was in the leadership of the fire union, and from time to time we found ourselves negotiating with Manager Burton and his designee, and always found him he was a tough negotiator, but a very fair person, and a person that it was clear that he was a person of his word, and always appreciated that. And I've also found that as a city commissioner. Even your time at as the executive director of League of Cities and Towns, you were very helpful for me as a new commissioner. And then I will always be thankful. I remember calling you on an evening and expecting an answer of no, of would you be interested in being the interim city manager of Helena again? Fully expected a big no, but we didn't get that. So very thankful that that you said yes at that time and stepped up, and then later stepped up to the full-time position of city manager. Lots happened in the time that you've taken the helm again. You've stabilized our municipal government. Very, very much brought back to Helena a very solid budget and budgeting process, and really rebuilt the leadership team at the city of Helena, and so I individually have lots to be grateful for in you, and I would say Helena has a lot to be grateful for you and your service. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate it.
Commissioner Reed.
Thank you. I will not give as much detail as Commissioner Logan, but I do want to say thank you for your service. I was just giggling to myself this morning that when your name comes up on my cell phone, I'm always like, well, this can't be good. But it's always delivered with such calm pragmatism that I know that no matter what the news is you're delivering, we are always in good hands, and for that I'm eternally grateful, so thank you.
Commissioner Sherliff.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. City Manager Burton, we've had the chance to work together twice now. The first time was under Governor Bullock when you were our Chief of Staff. I enjoyed it then, and I enjoyed it these last 3 years, and I can't thank you enough for your leadership and stewardship of our city, as well as the wisdom you've imparted on us, and I've learned a lot from you, and I appreciate it very much, and I've always appreciated our talks, and hope to talk to you in the future, and I wish you and Jerry all the best, and enjoy your holidays together, and we'll see you down the road.
I'll just end. I don't think anyone deserves a vacation more than Tim Burton. I feel so fortunate that we've gotten to work together. I think sometimes, when people are coming in to stabilize an organization, we thought it would be maybe just that. And I'm very grateful that you kept your foot on the gas. And, in your last year at the city, we got 2 major federal grants, achieved a third of in the first year of our new strategic plan. And I think one of the things I've learned most from you that I'm going to continue to carry throughout the rest of my career is just how to empower people and make them feel like they're actually part of a team. I remember one of the first things that you said when you came back to this city was that we were in the midst of a pretty significant vacancy and staffing crisis. And one of the first things you said was, we're going to hire good people who want to work for the public. And I think we've done just that. And none of this would be possible without you. So I'm just super grateful. And I'm glad that now when we get to talk, it will not have to be about, any crisis. It can just be as friends. So really appreciate you, Tim.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. It's certainly been my honor and pleasure to serve in this role. One of the greatest rewards with all this time has been the excellent, smart, successful people that I've been able to work with. And, whether it takes you to the halls of Congress or the commission chambers, it's been truly an honor and a pleasure. And as you well know, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, the city's in good hands. And so, having said that, it's going to be fun to watch this city get positive results across the board. And I think, as you well know, you're well positioned to do just that. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Sure, yes. All right, a report from the city attorney.
Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, I have nothing to report.
Report of the city manager.
Mayor Pro Tem, I've got a few things to report, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to hand it over to the city clerk to update the commission on the commission vacancy process.
Thank you, Manager Burton. I echo everything that was stated earlier, just for the record. It's been an honor. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, per our discussion last week, you all indicated you'd be interested in seeing what top 5 candidates came out of the 17 that were in the applicant pool for the commission vacancy. And I requested, in order to be able to update you today, that we get those submitted by the end of the week. And you all did so I thank you for that. And in front of you is a matrix based upon everyone's submittals. And you can see that 5 candidates are identified. And with your permission, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, I'd like to announce those this evening. So in no particular order, the top 5 candidates per the commission submittals are Jenny Eck, Julia Gustafson, Michael Hale, Benjamin Kuiper, and Logan Smith. So having said all of that, the other direction I got from this commission was that you'd be interested in being, or having the first round interviews on January 5th with a potential second round interview and final decision on January 7th. I guess I'd like to just have some brief discussion with the commission about a couple of logistical items. First, to confirm that those dates would still work. January 7th, should we use that, is an administrative meeting. It's the first meeting of the year, and we, as we've discussed in the past, try and tag on to other meetings so it makes it easier to schedule with all of you because you're very busy. In the previous applicant pool that we did in 22, we did 30-minute interviews for the first round, and I'd like to confirm if that's still the commission's desire is to do the 30-minute interviews. Some of you have submitted questions at this point, and that's great. I will continue to collect questions from those that haven't yet, but I also wanted to confirm the number of questions per interview. So in 22, in the first round, you asked 6 questions. In the second round, there were 8 questions identified. And again, at the meeting last week, it seemed as though the commission was comfortable with following a very similar process as we did in 22. So I'd just like to have a brief discussion amongst the commission and see if all of that still works.
Commissioners? Commissioner Reed?
All of that works for me, yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That works. I hadn't seen this until right now, so forgive me. I'm quickly scanning. I personally would be comfortable interviewing 7 because it does look like there's 2 additional who have 3 votes based on the new configuration. I think it was a really outstanding pool of candidates, and I would be comfortable interviewing 7 instead of 5 and using the numbers of questions you just suggested. Thanks.
I would be comfortable. I like the 30-minute interviews. I think, personally, I would prefer to stick with the 5 just because it makes it, easier when we're narrowing it down to 2 for the final. I know one time we've done a semi-finalist and finalist, but that's where I would be.
Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you. So relative to 5 versus 7, how do you need to know tonight?
Ideally, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, ideally, the direction, at least from my notes from last week's meeting was that you all would propose 5 candidates, and 5 were given by yourself, Commissioner Logan, Commissioner Dean. Mayor Collins opted to propose 4, and Commissioners Reed and Shurtleff both proposed 7 candidates. I did just include in the matrix in front of you, Commissioner-elect Rigby did give public comment, and there was an indication you all may want to consider his thoughts as well. So just as an aside, I put his selection he submitted to public comment on the matrix as well. I would prefer, just for the interest of the public and for logistical reasons, to have some confirmation as to how to proceed, especially given the fact that at this time, my understanding was there was going to be 5 top candidates.
Mayor Pro Tem, I
Logan.
can certainly live with 7.
So my preference is 5, simply because, if we're concerned about the time, I'm okay with doing 7, but I know that the length of our meetings has continued to be a concern of some, and which is fine. So if we're okay with, doing, I guess that would be about 3 hours of interviews Monday night, that's fine with me.
So
I just prefer we get it narrowed down to 2 for the final interview.
okay. So at this time then, given that 2 commissioners have submitted 7 names and 3 on the current commission have submitted 4 or 5, are you comfortable then with moving forward with 2 commissioners proposing on the current commission, submitting 2 additional names, as I see it?
Yeah, yep. So we'll go back through, and so it would be me, Commissioner Logan would need to submit 2 more names since we did the 5 as we had previously talked about, and then go from there.
That's up, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, I guess that would be up to you as a body. Are you,
Yeah, I guess, well, I guess maybe, is there a reason that 7 were submitted when the plan was 5 after the last meeting?
Sure, Mayor Pro Tem. I had a really hard time narrowing it down to 5. There were too many great candidates. So I put in 7, not intending to go with 7. I just came up with that now, given Commissioner-elect Rigby's choices and seeing that there are 3 candidates on this matrix who had 3 votes when you include Commissioner-elect Rigby. It was sort of a really not pre-thought-out suggestion based on the matrix in front of me. And I couldn't narrow it down past 7 because I thought we had really good choices.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Commissioner Shurtleff.
same story. I had a really tough time narrowing it down. I think we had a really good slate of candidates, and I don't have a say moving forward past this, but I really appreciated the opportunity to have a say, but I apologize. I had a tough time narrowing it down to 5, let alone 7. Thank you.
So I guess when would we announce the additional 2?
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, there are 2 candidates that have been identified by 2 of the existing commission members. If I am to understand Commissioner Reed's comments earlier, then that would indicate that we'd now need to consider Commissioner Rigby's overall, his input. Or you as a body would then need to decide if you'd like to move forward with additional names from those that did not submit up to 7. Or if you're comfortable with moving forward with the information in front of you on the matrix.
I mean, personally, I still think that I'd rather not overcomplicate this and go with the 5 that we have here. But
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, Certainly at this time, I've announced 5 names, and I feel perhaps imprudent to, until I get a majority of the commission to indicate whether or not I should announce an additional 2 names for the public interest.
Mayor Pro
Commissioner
Tem,
Logan?
so I think it seems like our direction was 5, to submit 5. And I guess if we were to consider 7, I'd like a little more time to figure out who the other 2 would be. And I don't necessarily want to do it on the fly here, personally. Either.
Okay, we'll move ahead with the 5.
Okay, so Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, just for confirmation, I have Jenny Eck, Julia Gustafson, Michael Hale, Benjamin Kuiper, and Logan Smith as the top 5 candidates. As indicated earlier, we will do 30-minute interviews, which was the process used in 2022. And I will notice those meetings here in the next week. And I just want to confirm that January 5th for the first round and January 7th would still be okay with the commission at this stage.
Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem and Madam Clerk, January 5th was at, let me just make sure the calendar, because there have been holds and I've been off. The January 5th meeting would be at?
I have, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner Reed, I haven't indicated a time yet, just to confirm schedules. So if there is a time preference for the commission, please say so. And
We
I'll-
don't have anything set yet.
No.
Great, thank you.
So Mayor Pro Tem, we'd be looking at January 5th for first round interviews, January 7th, with 30-minute interviews on January 5th. And then we can narrow the pool then per commission direction at that time. I've heard at least one individual, forgive me, Mayor Pro Tem, it might have been you, that indicated you'd like to narrow it to 2 heading into the second round of interviews. And that's something that can be determined at a later date. But I just, at this point, want to make sure that we're all comfortable with the number of candidates, the amount of time spent at each interview, and that January 5th is okay for everyone.
Mayor Pro Tem, yes, to all.
Okay, good to go. Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Police Chief Petty and his team, Fire Chief Campbell and his team, Park and Rec Director Doug Smith and his crews, and also Director Konopke and his crews, and many other city employees for the way that they responded to the wind event in Helena last Wednesday and beyond. It was excellent pre-planning, excellent staging, really impressive coordination, and I think in terms of responding to an emergency, I would rate their response as an A+, and I'd like to thank them for their hard work and service, which they're continuing to do as we speak today. But it was a job well done, and I think it's worth saying out loud tonight in the chambers. And then finally, Mayor Pro Tem, with your permission, I'd like to invite Director Leland up. I know we've had a lot of questions in terms of solid waste disposal since the event. And so with that, I'd ask the director to speak to.
Thank you.
our
Director
approach.
Leland.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission. I want to thank Commissioner Shirtliff for all the work and support he did for Public Works, and of course, Commissioner Burton. I can't thank him enough what he's done for me professionally and personally. So thank you for that, and thank you for the second. Take a second of that time. As far as solid waste, we've got a lot of inquiries about how much debris we've gotten in and above everything that we usually get. We have no way of tracking that with our software and with the scales. They come across, we weigh it, and then it goes out. We will be able to back it out In the future, we're stockpiling it right now, and we keep track of how much of the green waste we chip and then we dispose of. But we've already chipped twice, which we have budgeted for, so we've already spent that money. So it's going to look like in spring or next year, depending on how big the pile gets, if we'll need an additional chipping sometime this spring, winter, and if we need to come with a budget amendment or move some money around. So we do not have any of that information for you right now, but we will better be able to do that come in a month or so once we see what finally gets there. But we are seeing a big influx of traffic and then also the tonnage. So I can answer any questions if you have them.
Questions or comments? One question, Director Leland. For folks who live in town, they would have their passes. That is what they can use when they come to bring the trees.
Correct, yes. You'd have to use your pass, which is 2,000 pounds, which you get in addition to whatever is being picked up for the residential waste. But yes, you do need to use your dump pass to be able to come in, or if you're a commercial business, you will have to pay at the scale. But yes, you'd have to use that.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes my remarks.
Great, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, Commissioner
I'd just
Logan.
like to echo Manager Burton's thanks to all of the staff, police, fire, parks, transportation, for the work done in a really difficult situation, and very much stresses the how well coordinated ahead they are in terms of pre-planning and just working together, and so my thanks go out to them as well.
All right, communications from the Helena Citizens Council. Chair Kuiper.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Ben Kuiper, the Chair of the Helena Citizens Council. We finally did get a time nailed down for the HCC swearing-in ceremony. That'll be 5:30 p.m. Next Monday on December 29th, and that'll be right here in the Commission chambers. We'll be sworn in by the Mayor, and all of you are welcome to attend. You can even speak if you'd like, but it's not required. So whatever you'd like to do, you'd be welcome. Also, I just wanted to extend a personal thank you to City Manager Burton, Commissioner Shurtleff, and Mayor Collins for your work that you did with the HCC throughout my tenure. Sometimes we agreed, sometimes we didn't, but you always came to the table in good faith. So I want to thank you all for that. And with that, that ends my report.
Any questions or comments for Chair Kuiper? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, regular items. First, we'll have item A, consider a resolution for final annexation of Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads and Mountain View Meadows subdivision, a 15.77 acre phase planned for 56 residential lots and associated rights of way. Planner Goodrich.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission. As mentioned, we are here to consider a resolution for final annexation of Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision. The general location of this proposed phase is located directly to the east of Phase 8 of Craftsman Village of the Mountain View Meadows subdivision and to the southeast of the intersection of Alpine View Drive and Berwyn Street. With the location in mind, we can move on to the background. So April 10th, 2023, City Commission approved the intention to annex pre-zoning and preliminary plat of phases 8, 9, and 10 of Craftsman Village at Mountain View Meadows subdivision. August 26, 2024, Craftsman Village Phase 8 final plat was approved. Phase 9 is still under development and estimated to be completed in 2026. And today, Mountain View Meadows LLC is requesting final annexation of Craftsman Village Phase 10. As for the conditions of approval, all conditions of approval associated with the Craftsman Village preliminary plat for phases 8, 9, and 10, which were approved by City Commission on April 10, 2023, have been met. Therefore, City staff recommends the following motion. Move to approve a resolution for final annexation of Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision totaling 15.77 acres with 56 residential lots and 7.29 acres of public right-of-way derived from track A1, 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 A1 of amended plat number 3444188, located within the south 1/2 section 26 and the north 1/2 and southeast quarter of section 35, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, PMM, Lewis and Clark County, Montana.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment? Madam Clerk?
Mayor Pro Tem, I have no public comment online.
Okay. Any final discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Commissioner Sherliff.
I move to approve a resolution for final annexation of the Craftsman Village Phase 10 of Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision totaling 15.77 acres with 56 residential lots and 7.29 acres of public right-of-way derived from Tract A1, 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 A1 of amended plat number 3444188 located within south half of Section 26 and the north half and southeast quarter of Section 35, Township 10, North, Range 3, West, PMM, Lewis and Clark County, Montana.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Great. Item B, consider approval of the final plat for Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision, a 15.77 acre phase plan for 56 residential lots and 7.29 acres of public right-of-way.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission. As mentioned, consider approval of final plat for Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision. General location for the proposed phase is unchanged from the prior annexation request, with Phase 10 located directly east of Phase 8 and southeast of the intersection of Alpine View Drive and Berwyn Street. Background consists of the information previously stated in the final annexation request. However, Mountain View Meadows LLC is now requesting approval of the final plat for Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision. All conditions of approval associated with the Craftsman Village preliminary plat phases 8, 9, and 10, which were approved by the City Commission on April 10, 2023, have been met. Therefore, City staff recommends the following motion. Move to approve the final plat for Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision, totaling 15.77 acres with 56 residential lots and 7.29 acres of public right-of-way.
Is there any commission discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment? Madam Clerk, is there any public comment online?
Mayor Pro Tem, I have no public comment online.
Okay, seeing no public comment, any final discussion from the commission? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Commissioner Logan.
I would move to approve the final plat for Craftsman Village Phase 10 of the Crossroads at Mountain View Meadows subdivision totaling 15.77 acres with 56 residential lots and 7.29 acres of public right-of-way.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0.
Public hearings, item A, consider the proposed demolition of 3 non-residential buildings which are listed as contributing buildings to the Helena Railroad Depot Historic District, a National Register of Historic Places Historic District. Director Brink.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the commission. Computer's logged off, so some old fancy presentation is hidden. But I'll go ahead and get started. Again, this is a public hearing for the consideration of the demolition of 3 contributing structures to the Railroad Depot Historic District. Back on November 18th, 2025, the Helena, Lewis and Clark County Heritage Tourism Council held their public hearing to consider this request, and they have forwarded a recommendation to you for approval with various conditions, 3 conditions, which will provide minimal protection to the Helena Railroad Historic District. and I'll read those conditions at the end of the presentation. I'm going to try to drive from up here, so bear with me. This is a vicinity map showing the general location of the tract upon which these three buildings are located. They're located there on the north side of Gallatin Avenue in a block bordered by North Sanders, Gallatin, Harris, and Railroad Avenue. Technology sometimes fails me. There we go. This is general photographs of the general neighborhood surrounding these buildings. That picture on the top left is the three buildings there in a row there on Gallatin Avenue, moving left and down. Upper right corner, that's looking east along Gallatin Avenue. Lower left is looking to the south, across the street from Gallatin Avenue. Those properties right there are not in the historic district, whereas the buildings, of course, across the street are. Then the last photograph is looking to the west. These are general photographs showing the condition of the three buildings. The top left are the three buildings there in a row, and then top right is garage number 1, and then garage number 2 is there in the bottom left, and then garage number 3. And this is just a typical interior of the buildings. I don't have buildings of the other two, but this is garage 1. This shows general condition of what the other two buildings look like as well. Some historical information and background on these tracts. According to the registration and the designation of National Register of Historic Places, the outbuildings and garages were functional in their design and usage with virtually no decorative elements that would enhance the appearance of the properties. They reflect the working class nature of the neighborhood because of their simplicity of design and utilitarian nature. They are also indicative of the transformation of the district's primary mode of transportation, being the horse, to the automobile. These were, in their heyday, used for automobile storage and repair. Additional historic information, 3 garages were initially associated with the Morgan Grocery and a boarding house which were located at 1529 and 1531 Railroad Avenue, which is there to the north, prior to these buildings separated from the Morgan Grocery building. Morgan Grocery originally functioned as a grocery meat market with rooms to let on the second floor. The garages at the rear of the property were added in 1930 and 1952. Coal shed was, and the third building was moved there after 1954. Coal shed was moved into the property in 1952 and is likely of historic age and does not detract from the overall integrity of the site. This shows again the nomination for the historic district, showing the primary building being the Morgan Grocery and the 3 garages being contributing buildings, with the arrow pointing at their general location there in the district. So I did notice I've got some slides out of whack and out of sequence, but I'll go through them as they are here in my presentation. 315.8b of the Helena City Code, which is the historic demo ordinance, specifies at least 8 or 9 areas for review of criteria and measures of findings, and we'll go through these each on the next slides. So the first one being 315.6b, Helena City Code, written description and current photographs that illustrate the present condition of the building, structure, or site, upon which show the necessity or justification of the demolition request. Now, these findings that I'm going to review were not city staff findings. These are findings from your HTC staff that would collaborate between city and the county. Photographs of the structure's exterior and interior are provided without descriptions or justification for the demolition request. The next area of review and finding and evaluation, description of the proposal and the reason demolition was requested. The applicant has submitted descriptions of the proposal and reasons for demolition, being most of the roof has holes through shingling allowing for water to seep through. Roof framing, subroof has significant signs of rot. The buildings are not insulated, and wall framing shows signs of rot as well. These three structures had not been previously maintained nor continuously used as garages prior to the applicant's recent ownership. Neighborhoods are not static as ownerships change. Structures and their uses evolve over time in neighborhoods as evidenced in the immediate area and shown on the photographs that I provided earlier. The next area of review and evaluation, description of the surrounding neighborhood and how the proposed loss of a contributing property will not impact the district's SHPO designation as a historic district. The applicant stated, this is right out of his application, the demolition of the sheds will not affect the neighborhood in any adverse way because the buildings do not provide shelter or storage for any of the businesses or residents of the neighborhood. Additionally, the sheds do not provide architectural or sought-after architectural design features that distinguish them as historic buildings. The sheds used as part of the Morgan Grocery and Boarding House at 1529 Railroad Avenue, but were divided away from the property sometime prior to the acquisition by the applicant. Surrounding neighborhood contains a mixture of residential and commercial buildings constructed during the Railroad District's period of significance of 1883 to 1953. The three garages were essentially accessory structures to the former Morgan Grocery and the boarding house, and their deteriorated condition was established prior to the applicant's recent ownership in July of 2025. The next item for review and evaluation, cost estimates to rehabilitate or repair the structure. Estimates shall be supplemented with documentation reports providing justification for the demolition. There was no justification provided other than what I've stated earlier, but the applicant's construction estimates indicate the cost to rehabilitate the existing buildings in total valued at $12,600. Although the applicant did not submit costs associated with new light buildings, anticipated costs for new construction would be substantially greater and higher than the rehab estimate that they've provided. The final two or three points of review and evaluation, architectural and or historical significance of the structure and its relationship to the district. As contributing buildings to the historic district, the three garages are consistent with criteria for listing with the National Register of Historic Places for the representative architectural of late 19th and early 20th century styles, and this is National Review Criteria C, which states that criteria that embody the distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction. The nomination does not call out any outstanding architectural features of the three garages in and of themselves. And the last one, consider public testimony. We've received, nor did the HTC or HPO staff receive any public comment on this demo request. And the last one, sorry, there was one more. Any other relevant information. Application indicates building materials and the garage's contents will be salvaged and donated to the Helena Restore for what that's worth. So any value will be realized in salvaged material to a worthy cause. So I'm not going to read all this. This is real wordy, and I'm starting to talk fast. HPO staff did come to their own conclusion. Essentially, they provided a recommendation to the HTC that recommended approval for the demolition with 2 conditions attached. So these are the HTC and the HPO recommendations. HTC recommended to you approval with conditions. The 2 conditions being, 1, the new building's facade shall include 1-over double-hung windows, porticos over the entry doors, gable roof, and light siding or board and batten to minimize the effects of the railroad district, as discussed in their September 22nd, 2025 meeting with HTC staff and the applicant. Condition 2, building permit for new construction must be obtained within 1 year. HPO essentially had the same conditions. Condition 1 was reworded a little differently, but the recommendation forwarded to you was from the HTC. And lastly, city staff conclusion. We came to a little different conclusion or recommendation and motion. The recommended conditions from HPO staff, we are thankful for the recommendations and appreciate them wholeheartedly. The recommended conditions from HPO staff and HTC are either requirements already of the general building demolition permit process or not related to specific criteria or a finding, nor is there a nexus, unfortunately, to the approval of a demolition permit. We felt that tying historic standards to new construction via conditions of a historic demolition permit in this instance is not supported by the analysis or of a specific finding related to the actual structures under consideration for the demolition. Sure, is there an impact with new construction to a historic district? Absolutely. But currently we don't have guidelines. We don't have requirements. City Community Development staff support the HPO and HTC recommendations without any added conditions. And so to conclude, city staff recommends that commission approve a motion to approve a historic demolition permit for 3 non-residential buildings which are listed as contributing buildings to the Helena Railroad Depot Historic District on property legally described as Lot 11A, Block 48, Northern Pacific Edition, Section 29, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, with a COS of 3263314, Helena, Montana, on property with an address of 1524 Gallatin Avenue. And that was it. I apologize that I read that so fast.
Great, thank you, Director Brink. I don't know that you read anything too fast, don't worry.
And for the record, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, the applicant is here, Mr. Warhank, as well as Kathy Macefield from HPO.
Great. Questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. For you, Director Brink, if you don't mind, I believe you said this, I just want to make sure I understood clearly. The recommendations from HPO and HTC would be relevant at the time of a new building permit. The conditions 1 and 2, would come up with a new build permit or not?
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner, no. Unfortunately, the City of Helena, we do not recognize requirements for historic preservation in any of our ordinances. We just have guidelines for districts as a whole. So there would be no requirement that they meet those standards. We just did not find a nexus between the demo of 3 accessory buildings to a condition attached to a new building on the site. We understand the need for that, but that's for a future discussion.
Any other questions?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Commissioner Logan.
Sorry, Director Brink. So the ages of the 3 buildings again?
So they range, the first building, and Kathy can correct me, the first building, the oldest, is from 1930. 2 additional buildings were either moved or located in 52 and 54.
Thank you.
Kathy is shaking her head yes. And a follow-up to Commissioner Reed's question, and this came up previously. So when we start doing some of our implementation of the land use plan, and we talked about this actually a little bit when we had our demolition permit update, I'm particularly interested in preventing demolition by neglect, but a lot of that happens in other parts of the code. Would your recommendation for us in the future, in order to address some of these concerns, updating our code?
Mayor Pro Tem, Commission, yes. And HPO staff can verify this too. I speak to this every time I talk to them. It's of prime importance that we start addressing protection of historic districts for even new construction, and that starts with establishing codified guidelines rather than just recommendations or standards. Part of the demolition by neglect, you have to have something to apply the neglect to, and without those codified standards, we can't define definition. We cannot define demolition by neglect.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Madam Clerk, is there any public comment online?
Mayor Pro Tem, I have no public comment online.
Okay. Seeing none, any final discussion from the commission? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve a historic demolition permit for 3 non-residential buildings which are listed as contributing buildings to the Helena Railroad Depot Historic District on property legally described as Lot 11A, Block 48, Northern Pacific Edition, S29, T10 North, R3 West, COS number 3263314, Helena, Montana, on property with an address of 1524 Gallatin Avenue.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, public hearings, item B, consider approving the final passage of an ordinance granting a franchise to the Montana Internet Corporation and allowing the construction, operation, regulation, and control of a telecommunication system within the city of Helena, Montana. I guess acting City Attorney Pettish.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission. I'm here before you to ask you to consider approving the final passage of an ordinance granting a franchise to Montana Internet Corporation. Montana Internet Corporation has applied for a non-exclusive franchise to place and operate its telecommunication facilities within city right-of-way. This franchise agreement is required by our city code, and pursuant to state law, we must pass an ordinance in order for this franchise agreement to go into place. The agreement before you is substantially similar to the city's prior franchise agreements, and if you have any questions about this agreement, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Pettish. Any questions or comments from the commission? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment? Madam Clerk, is there any public comment online?
Mayor Pro Tem, I have no public comment online.
Okay, any final discussion from the commission? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Thank you very much. I move to approve a final passage of an ordinance granting a franchise to Montana Internet Corporation and allowing the construction, operation, regulation, and control of telecommunications system within the city of Helena, Montana.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, is there any public comment on any item not on this agenda? Any public comment? Mr. Busher.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Manager Burton, Commissioners. I wanted to just share a brief update on a conversation we had about sheltering our unsheltered population this coming winter. We are moving forward. We have currently about 3 faith communities who have stepped forward and are going through the process of, thanks to Director Brink, going through the process of having their buildings inspected and prepared to house folks overnight in the event of cold weather. Working with the COAD, we've roughly established a temperature of around 10 degrees or 10 degrees wind chill factor in terms of an activation point for those evenings. It is still in process. We are still seeking other folks. We have trained a good number of volunteers to work in these sites. And also, I want to mention that as this progress is being made, this has been a significant effort to meet this need, and it certainly calls our attention to a gap in services in our community. And we are working with folks like the Helena Area Foundation, who are building capacity for some of our nonprofits, so that in the future we might see a low barrier shelter that has a long-term sustainable effort to meet these needs, and that this effort this winter, I hope, is not a long-standing effort, but we will work with the community. And also we'll mention that folks like our existing shelter, God's Love, and our friends at Our Place, they receive funding from our friends at the county and other places. And in the work we're doing, we will be looking at building funding stacks to help pay for not only a future shelter, but even for the work we're currently doing, coordinating volunteers and this kind of thing. So it is not lost on us that while this is a significant volunteer effort, that it will require funding in the future, and we will look forward to working with the city and the county to provide funds for caring for our unsheltered neighbors. So I just wanted to share that update. Open to any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Busher. And thank you for organizing the really moving Longest Night Memorial last night.
Thank you.
Great. Any additional public comment? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mayor Pro Tem, I have no public comment online.
Great. Is there any final comments from the commission? Okay, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.